I'm Dominique McMullan, and you're listening to the Wellness Project podcast. Now in its third season, recorded here in the beautiful, iconic offices. This is a podcast where together we learn how to nourish our bodies, our minds, and our souls. Now, this episode is a little bit of a different one as we prepare for Europe's largest outdoor health, wellness, and fitness festival. I'm talking, of course, about Wellfest. Image are so delighted to partner with Wellfest again this year, and I am thrilled to be hosting and chatting to everyone on the WellTalks stage again. It is a really special festival, and this year is shaping up to be bigger and better than ever before. And I am lucky enough to have some of the headliners with me here today.
The Wellness Project is sponsored by Activia and Irish Life Health.
But we are going to kick things off with none other than the mastermind behind it all, the head of Wellfest, Sarah King. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm good.
I'm
Delighted
hoping
to be here.
today is a nice little break, a little quiet moment for you, because I'm sure life is very busy at the moment.
Yeah, this is quite nice. Very different to all of my other meetings at the minute.
Good.
But
Good.
it's lovely to be here with you, Dominique.
It's so nice to have you here, and it's so nice to meet the person behind it all. I mean, it really is. I was just saying to you before we started to record that I, for the first time, went to Wellfest last year. Well, I'd been there many years ago when it was in Herbert Park, but it was my first time experiencing the wow that is Wellfest now. And it really is quite something. I mean, like I said, Europe's largest.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I know the scale is quite something. I think people don't really anticipate it. You know, people who haven't attended before, they can't really wrap their heads around it. But
Yeah.
it very much is like, look, the whole concept of Wellfest came from the love of music festivals, but like a passion for health and wellness.
Yeah.
So it is very much just like a music festival. You know, it's an outdoor event. You have all the structures, the music,
Yeah.
different areas focused on different things, but instead of music and arts, it's all the different pillars of wellness.
And it feels good when you're there. Is there any alcohol anywhere? No alcohol. at
Alcohol
all.
free. Yeah.
Which is lovely.
I know. Really proud of that, to be honest.
Yeah. It feels really, everyone feels so warm and welcoming, and everywhere you look, there's people doing, little workouts and eating delicious food and hearing from experts. It's a really special atmosphere.
It is so special. And actually our venue, Kilmainham, they obviously see like a ream of different gigs and festivals over the summer. And yeah, they just say they absolutely love our community who come. They say they're just the nicest people. They're so polite.
Yeah.
Even our waste management company say they can't believe how clean the site is.
Wow.
Everyone's just so conscious and wholesome. So it's amazing.
It's a lovely crowd. Yeah. So what have we got to look forward to this year?
Oh, we have 2 days absolutely jam-packed full
Yeah.
of amazing things. So there's loads of talks, cooking demos, workshops, the whole ream of it. It really, I think the nice thing about Wellfest is there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a gym bunny who goes to the gym 3 times a week. You don't have to be a meditation expert, You can come in your jeans if you wish to. There's plenty of things that don't include movement. If that's not your cup of tea, that's grand.
Mm-hmm. I really noticed that because I went in a maxi skirt. I was like, I am not doing any workouts. That's not happening. And it was great. I didn't feel like I had to. There was so much more than just working out.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the cooking demo stage is great. Get a nice coffee and go in and sit and listen and learn, get the kind of top tips from foodies, our favorite chefs and stuff. Or you might sit into a sound bath,
Yeah, lovely.
which is so nice.
Yeah.
Such an experience.
And stuff for kids as well?
Yes, we are kid friendly. So with every ticket purchase, we have up to 2 kids under the age of 12 for free. So we do have a Well Kids area, which is just the cutest thing. There's face painters, there's kids yoga, Zumba classes, the whole works. So it's really fun.
And any kind of key, I know now there's only so much you can give away because not everything has been announced, but any key kind of highlights to look forward to this year?
Yeah, this I find very hard because I look at the schedule that we have planned and I just love everything. But I think a couple of the highlights for me is definitely the workout in main stage with Don Brooks. So that's dominatrix. He's coming all the way from LA.
Yeah, tell us about him. Who does he work out with now?
Oh, everyone, all the celebrities.
Yeah.
So he is the Kardashians' personal trainer. He goes on tour with the Black Eyed Peas.
Amazing.
Men's Health actually rated him, I think, top 40 fitness gurus of all time. So
wow.
Yeah, really cool. Like, and someone completely fresh who we've never had before. We've been hunting him for a couple of years now, so it's great. The availability's kind of matched up. And another one, I mean, I've been a day one fan of Jenny Keane and all of her work.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to have her back in the flesh at Wellfest. I remember attending her first orgasm workshop in Fumbly Stables like years and years ago. And I just think she's magic.
She is.
So she'll be doing a tantra workshop and also an orgasm workshop on the image stage at WellTalks. So that'll be fab.
She's brilliant. And the fact that she's a new mum now as well, it brings a whole new level of understanding to what she's doing.
Totally. Like even just standard conversations with Jenny, I feel like you learn so much. She is just a wealth of knowledge and like a real kind of key voice in women's health. Yeah. Do you know? So
she's amazing. A special person.
Yeah.
Is there anything new or different? Any like new areas or anything different this year?
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole lineup is very fresh this year, I would say. Ellen, who kind of leads up the program and has done an amazing job. So we do have loads of key speakers who are kind of coming to their first Wellfest.
Yeah.
So the likes of Brian Penney, so he's a doctor of like neuroscience.
We interviewed him here on the Wellness Project. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's incredible. So he'll be chatting about addiction and stuff, which is, you know, people suffer with addiction in all different aspects. It doesn't have to just be drugs and alcohol, you know, it can be technology and different things. We also have Millie Gooch coming over from the UK. So she's obviously the founder of Sober Girl Society. So I think that's really interesting. And I think like, you know, all the wellness kind of market research and stuff does show that even younger ones who are maybe in university now, like their experience is completely different. You know, they're not going out and getting plastered 5 nights a week. They do kind of value their health and wellness and kind of put that first. So I think it's great to kind of cover that.
It's so much, I mean, wellness just as a concept has just completely changed when I think about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's amazing that so many more people care about this stuff.
Absolutely. Like people are definitely a lot more proactive with it rather than being reactive, you know, like historically you would have waited until you were unwell before you would do anything about your health and well-being. So it's really nice to kind of see that complete change, and you know the whole industry's evolved. You know, we've got better products to support our health and well-being, better talent, you know, to be booking, to coming and hosting in different talks and workouts, everything. It's amazing.
And is that how you've seen the festival evolve? Yeah. How long have you been involved in it?
Since 2017.
Okay, wow.
Which is crazy.
So you would have seen a big change over that time.
And actually before I started working with Wellfest, I attended back in 2016.
Okay.
And I just remember leaving Herbert Park that day like a completely new person. I think I just was on cloud 9 and like really inspired and stuff. And like every year after the festival, you know, we do attendee feedback. It's really important to us about how the audience found the festival went, any changes, what they loved, what they didn't like. And it's amazing to kind of read that people are still having that kind of effect. You know, they're walking away from it feeling like new people and really inspired and stuff. So it is really special.
It is really special. Yeah. What does wellness mean to you personally? Is it something that's important to you? Is it something?
It's literally like my left arm. I think like I go through different phases of it, you know, like years ago, I was absolutely obsessed with yoga. I actually did do my yoga training.
Oh, wow.
So I went to Bali and did that for a month. Loved it. Not even to become a teacher, but just to learn.
Gorgeous.
More recently, I've got obsessed with boxing. So I actually did a white collar fight, which was incredible.
No way. That's so cool.
I know. Yeah. One fighter of the night. So it was amazing. Yeah. I've never done anything like it. So like, overwhelming, getting punched in the face.
Oh my God.
It was amazing, but like the training and stuff was just unreal, and to raise money for charity.
Hard. Boxing is really, I've only done like maybe 2 sessions in my life training for it. And oh my God, you have no idea how exhausting it is.
No, I know. And like, no matter how fit you are, you'll always leave the session feeling like I'm beat, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like, I definitely use it very holistically, and like you would kind of see my whole routine kind of goes with the seasons. You know, in the winter months, I'm very much into my yin. I like to go slow it down, dark candlelit rooms, bolsters, blankets, all of that.
Beautiful.
Springtime, definitely be up the mountains a lot more, you know, whenever the sun comes out. But no, it's just a part of me. And like, I think that's why I love my job so much.
Of course.
Because it just feeds right back into like all those different passions.
Yeah. Love that. What do you do on May 12th, 13th? Do you just sleep straight after the festival? You must be exhausted.
Well, we have to take it down before I can sleep.
God. Of course you do.
So yeah, we have to clean up after the party. So no, we'd be on site, kind of clearing things up, making sure, you know, the sites as we got it, leave no trace. All of that's very important. But yeah, I go home, sleep is like front of mind. And then I will more than likely have my favorite facial booked or a massage,
lovely,
and just really be very restorative and wholesome and spend time with my loved ones.
Good. And I hope you take the rest of May off then and have the feet firmly up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah King. It was lovely to chat to you today.
You too.
So next, I am so delighted to welcome a fabulous TV chef who is going to be taking to the Well Food stage at Wellfest this year. She is, of course, Erica Drum. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm absolutely brilliant. The weather is gorgeous, isn't it?
I know. It really helps having the sunshine. Yeah.
100%.
So you're going to be on the Well Food stage this year. Is this your first year?
No, last year as well. I loved it. Well Food is a stage section, I suppose, of Wellfest, but the whole festival is about wellness and food, so it's not even segregated in that way, right? So yeah, I'll be hosting it on the Sunday, so quite a few demos with loads of names we'll recognize, like Trisha Lewis, who I have to mention. I actually think she's doing Saturday. She's like a comedy sketch cookery demo, and that's not to say she's joking around with the food is perfect and always fabulous dishes and recipes, but it's just so brilliant. She's so funny. She keeps the flow going. Everyone's laughing. They're also learning. It's fantastic. So yeah, demos with different chefs. We've got the nutritionist this year.
Amazing.
Which is, I'm so excited.
Yeah. And she's going to be cooking.
She's going to be cooking.
So
and exciting. She cooks delicious food. You know, always like high protein, high fiber, but also really tasty, which is
gorgeous. And are you going to be cooking up a storm too?
I am cooking. I had to last minute change because we've got Janet dumplings. Do you know Janet's dumplings?
No.
She's incredible dumpling maker and also hosts master classes and cookery classes in dumpling making. And I didn't realize that we were going to be on the same day, and I had to put dumplings, so I pulled back my dumplings.
Were you doing dumplings? Oh no, you don't want that.
Poor Dublin dumplings. So yeah, I've changed it to a lovely salad. I'm doing crispy kind of harissa halloumi and butter bean salad.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. And then,
oh my God, my mouth is watering. I think we're going to have trouble with this interview. I'm like, do you give out free samples?
No.
Okay.
Anyone listening, there were wigs.
There was some little head nodding going on there.
No, we don't.
No.
Sadly, we don't really. We're not allowed. It's a health and safety issue. It has up, which is one of the legalities in Ireland, I suppose.
Yeah.
But sometimes people come up with their own forks when we're not looking.
I love that so much. Is it different putting together a dish for a festival than it is putting together for TV? Do you have different things you need to think about?
TV is hard because it's really tight. Actually, festivals are easier because you've the atmosphere of the room and the buzz of what's going on, and also you've got 30 to about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But you're usually on with somebody else, so there's this banter happening.
Yeah.
There's a TV is like 8 minutes, where they could go 3, 2, 1, live. You've only got 5 minutes, Erica. And then I'm like, I thought I had 8. And yeah, not that I can count the clock backwards in my head while I'm cooking and talking and entertaining on TV.
Oh, I know. Sorry, it's such a stressful job.
Yeah, I think it's a thing you just get used to. It's like this for you. Like it really is something I get used to. But the demos at festivals, especially Wellfest, because I think people are slightly like, not that they're shocked, but they're happily, delightedly surprised to be sitting there in front of chefs that they didn't think that they might see online, and they came to just do fitness classes, do you know? And then they're like, oh my God, I'm a nutritionist. I didn't know they walk upon it. And then there's this wonderful cookery class that there's something about seeing people in person making or doing something. It kind of stays with you, doesn't it? A bit better.
A little bit of magic.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember the stage so well last year, and it was exactly that. I stumbled across it and sat there just entranced. It was lovely. Yeah, really nice. You are also a new mum as well as a TV chef.
Am I allowed to still say that? She's nearly 3.
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah. You're still new in the world of mumming. 3 years is not long.
Yeah.
How is that?
It's wonderful. Like, I was just thinking there about the recipe, I was like, this is not something I could make on an average Tuesday, because like, she probably would eat it and she'd try it, and we're really exploring food, and we always have since she's been a baby. But yeah, there's just particular things you got to go back to, like pasta and stuff for the kids.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. We basically only eat
it's really hard, isn't it? Like, it's something I was scared of at the beginning. I was like, I don't want my daughter to be picky, how do I do it? And I kept asking parents who had older children who I could see eating vegetables or, interesting food. And they're like, we didn't really, we just, it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
So she eats, we put the food down the table. That's a few things I've learned, actually, is putting it all in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
And then you dig in.
Yeah.
And then
I like that too.
The biggest worry of a parent is that they're going to go to bed hungry, though, isn't it?
I know. So you're stuffing in slices of bread before they go upstairs.
Yeah.
What is your kind of go-to meal if you are like exhausted at the end of the day? You want something nutritious and nice but easy. What do you whiz up in the kitchen?
Well, if we include Stella, my daughter, and most of the time it is actually all of us, and me in a hurry, but all of us being hungry, would be a noodle dish of some kind.
Oh, yum.
Just like, she's obsessed with them, which helps, but so are we. And noodles are great because you can like put in raw vegetables, like, even carrot just grated in there. As the stock warms up, the stuff kind of cooks and softens a little bit. Bok choy, spinach leaves, even spinach from the freezer if you wanted. Boiled an egg. I've been boiling eggs in the water with the, people think I'm mad. I've done a good bit of research. It's totally fine. Okay.
Okay.
It's totally fine. But I boil the egg, I'm like a 6-7 minute egg girl. I'll put the egg on 3, backwards, retract the timing from the noodle cooking time.
Yeah.
And in it goes. Bag of manch 2. Maybe if we're going to do some crispy tofu or something on the side, or chicken, we eat everything in our house, but I just try and encourage as much veggies as possible. So we'd lash everything in, and I wouldn't be afraid of putting, peanuts or something on top for her.
Yum.
And if she wants to take them off or eat around them, then
even
a bit of chili.
Yeah, and easy and quick. I'd never even think to do that. I like a ramen kind of dish.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. You need to come and stay in my house, please. Has your wellness changed an awful lot since becoming a mum?
Yeah, I think I need to check in mentally more.
Yeah.
Which is a huge thing. But I suppose it's making sure that you kind of take time out as much as you can. Like, it's so hard to find it.
Yeah.
So hard. And talking to your friends is really important as well, especially in the early days, talking to other moms.
Yeah.
And in terms of body wellness, I'm only starting back, which sounds mental.
No, it doesn't.
3 years.
No, it doesn't at all.
I've just started going back to training in the gym and stuff. I think I was scared that it was such an overwhelming thing to do, such a big journey, that instead of doing little journeys.
I know.
But yeah, I suppose it has changed. There's less time, but we make time.
Yeah, I know. There's never enough time.
No, but then you're also running around after them, so you're actually like exercising without intentionally
100%,
exercising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're looking forward to at Wellfest this year? Any people you want to see, or any stages you want to spend time at?
I just want to be there. I want to cook and do all the things I'm doing, but I also just want the day to do stuff on my own accord. Like all the gorgeous yoga classes, the breath work classes, the hot tubs. There's of course we've got all the fitness stuff now. I probably won't make it over to those, but they're incredible. I love just hanging out at food stuff at any festival. So we've got like Connor Spacey's a pal, but also one of Ireland's biggest food heroes, sustainability. He's incredible. I said already. Trisha is absolutely hilarious. The happy pair just crack me up. They make everybody hug each other. I think, what did they say the last year? They wanted everyone to do there was something about the amount of hugs. So you had to hug 14 people. This might put people off.
14 people is a lot of people in a day.
He's like, 1, 2, no, just there in the middle. You all had to stand up. But you could, that kind of like laughing yoga class or whatever. You could just see this joy and warmth and everything lift up. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
And that's kind of the atmosphere throughout the whole festival, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's such a positive. There's, obviously no mess, and it ends at 6. Like it's a wholesome event.
Yeah, it is.
And some might think, oh, I'm not good to that, but actually you have so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so busy, like as in there's so many things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really entertaining. I love it.
Any food trends that we might see at Wellfest, or that you might see generally that you love or maybe don't love?
Well, I'm looking at Dubai chocolate bar. We can't get it in our faces, can we? Yeah. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, danger zone. Don't try it. It is so delicious. All of them are. And that's because of the texture. So essentially that pastry on the inside is giving us this really crispy texture along with creamy pistachio and then sweet chocolate on the outside. So that's huge. I think I like Bao Buns had a bit of their go, but I think they're going to come back a little bit. I love them so much. Or just filling things, tacos, sandwiches. They're never changing.
The dream. Filling things.
Filling things.
Yes.
I actually saw the nutritionist the other day. She did a pizza toasty, and I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I am down for a pizza toasty. God, I'd like one of them right now.
Yeah, I love it.
And last question: any restaurants that we should be thinking about? They don't have to be new. Just somewhere. I feel like we are always all looking for somewhere nice to go. It's just tasty food.
Do you know, someone on my Instagram, I can't remember who it was, said that they were in Tapas de Lola, and I was only there a few months ago, and I'd just forgotten about it. I'd forgotten. And they said they treat everyone like family, and it's so true. It's a really, really gorgeous restaurant. I have a voucher waiting for a date night now. I just have to get the babysitter sorted for Bastable, and I can't wait.
Phenomenal.
I live up that way, so I'm spoilt with choice around Dublin 8. There's loads of gorgeous places to stop into, and forever the Fumbly is just like, if you haven't been, just for a lovely, wholesome lunch.
A great lunch. Yeah.
One of my favourites.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Erica Drum. We will all be popping around to the food stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Now, food is an important part of our well-being, but as we move through different stages of life, different things require our attention. And one aspect of life that is particularly getting attention in the last while, as it very well should be, is the menopause. And one of the leading voices on that topic is my guest today, Loretta Dignam, CEO and founder of the Menopause Hub. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. It's beautifully sunny. So what's not to love?
I know. You can't really go wrong on a lovely day like today.
No.
Yeah. It's really nice to have you here, Loretta. I have read so much about the work you've been doing with the Menopause Hub, and I've been so aware of you. So it's really nice to chat to you in person today.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about your talk at Wellfest this year, what you're kind of hoping to talk about and touch on?
Yeah, so the talk is entitled Never Pause.
Lovely.
And it's about thriving rather than surviving during menopause and managing it on your own terms.
Lovely.
And I think Never Pause is a great way of saying that, you don't have to actually stop and life isn't over. Actually, it's the beginning of a next phase. And that's my message. I think in the past, menopause was seen as an end of women's fertility.
Yeah.
Women get old, they then, maybe are on the scrap heap or whatever. But actually, we're going to be living into our 80s, 90s. And so we've a lot of life to live, and we've already lived a lot of life. So we've a lot more to give. So it's really about sort of, never pause, and it's about thriving.
I love that. It's a really nice positive take on it. Is that the main message you hope people will take away after hearing
Yeah,
from you?
absolutely. I mean, I think, every year, 50 is the new 40, 60 is the new 50, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think, women it's a chance to pause,
Yeah.
but it's also a chance to take stock of your life and say, right, how do I want to live the next 20, 30 years? Because we're going to live about a third of our life as postmenopausal women. And, it's a chance to look at your lifestyle, look at your diet. Osteoporosis is a big risk for women, and as is cardiovascular disease. In fact, it's the number one killer of women, but we never talk about that. We all assume it's a male disease. And so too is dementia and Alzheimer's. And they're conditions that affect women as they age. So although we live longer than men, we tend to live in poorer health. So this is a kind of an opportunity to reset for the next phase of your life. And you can put in place plans to, look at your diet, overhaul it, look at your lifestyle, overhaul that. Start taking up different type of exercise, particularly weight-bearing exercise.
Yeah.
And it's about saying, right, what do I want to do with all this wisdom, experience, and what do I want to do for my next act?
I love that. Like, it's never too late to totally throw everything in the air and start doing something completely different.
I'm a perfect example.
When did you find the Menopause Hub?
I founded the Menopause Hub in December 2018, and I was obviously in my early 50s, and I was going through menopause and whatever, and I'd had a long and very successful career in the corporate sector, and I'd worked for major multinationals, Mars, Diageo, Kerry Group. I worked, I lectured in the Mike Smurfit Business School. I was on the board of the Abbey Theatre. So I had a very fulfilling career before that and very successful. But menopause caused me to stop, to think, and then to say, okay, how do I want to handle this? And once I got my own symptoms under control, and I think that's the key, is if you're experiencing symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, once you get those symptoms under control, then you can start to look at all those aspects of your life. And so I learned a huge amount. And to be honest with you, I feel I'm thriving. I sometimes say I feel like I'm in my 20s. I don't have the energy of the 20s, but I certainly have a lot of the freedom. My children, as I call them, my kidults, which they hate, they're over 18. They don't need me as much. My parents, unfortunately, have passed away, but I have elderly relatives, and I've got all this experience and wisdom, and I've got lots of time, and I can devote a lot more time to myself and my interests. And every day I'm learning. Every day.
I love that. And you have such an obvious pep in your step and an energy, which is infectious and so nice to see. It's really, it feels like the world is your oyster, Loretta. That's the impression I get from you.
That's funny that you should say that, because I write that on all my, well, I've only got 2 children, but my kids' cards all the time, and their friends and whatever. And I say to them, the world is your oyster. And the difference, I suppose, between 20 and 50 or 60 is that when the world is your oyster, as a young person, you don't really know what that means. Whereas as you age, you certainly know what that means.
Yeah, you know how precious that is.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's a chance for, I've reinvented myself completely.
Amazing.
I mean, and it's been great. And it has been through that menopause transition that I've done that.
Amazing.
And so that's really the message that I'd like to give to women. And although they may be in the throes of symptoms, actually get those under control, and then you can start living.
There's life on the other side. Yeah. And what does the Menopause Hub offer then? What are you doing for women?
So when I set up the Menopause Hub, I wanted to offer practical help for women. So I set up the first dedicated menopause clinic. And so it was the first in Ireland, and it was one of 2 firsts in the world. There was one set up in the UK around the same time. And so what we offer to women is medical services through doctors. We also have a psychologist, we have women's health physiotherapists, dietitian and nutritionist. So we offer a very, I suppose, holistic but evidence-based approach.
Yeah.
And we've 3 clinics. We've 2 in Dublin, 1 in Cork, and you can book yourself in self-referral. You don't need referral from a doctor. You can do them virtually through telehealth video. You can do them in person. We have an app for women to check their symptoms. They can download free. And we have...
What's your app called?
The app is called Menopause Hub.
Okay.
And so you can get it in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And we also have a separate sister business, if you like, called Menopause Hub Academy. And what we're doing is offering workplace training, education, policy development, and accreditation. And that's to make so that women professionally, as well as personally, can actually thrive in menopause and beyond.
What an offer, what a service you are offering. I mean, really incredible. I find it really interesting. This topic has developed and changed so much just over the last, I remember commissioning a menopause column when I first started at Image, which was 6, maybe 7 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. With Helen Seymour,
yes.
who was incredible. But people really wrinkled their nose at it. They really, didn't want to talk about it. And it was an unusual thing. So I can't imagine the change that you've seen and the education that people have got now. Is there an area that is kind of new in menopause that people, haven't yet learned about or discovered that you want to kind of highlight?
Well, I can remember when Helen Seymour, and I got in touch with her at the beginning and had several conversations with her about menopause and perimenopause in particular, she was talking about, which I'd never heard of actually. So that was pretty groundbreaking stuff. So well done you.
Well done you.
well done us then. How's that?
Yeah.
Because we took something that was taboo and we started to shine a light on it, on a spotlight. And it really, I was at a conference on at the weekend, and it was about endometriosis. And there was a doctor there, and he said that there's more research into erectile dysfunction and male balding than there is into endometriosis or any women's health conditions. So yes, it was taboo, but a lot has changed in 6 years. I mean, it's been an absolute menopause revolution, to be honest. And I think the things that there's going to be more research, which is really important. But I think there's new medications and new drugs coming out that are maybe non-hormonal. So there was a new one launched last year that's non-hormonal. So it helps with hot flushes and acts on the synapses of the brain. I think down the road, my daughter's 23 now, but by the time it gets to her menopause, I reckon, they'll be able to take pieces of the women's ovaries and freeze them and then reapply them or connect them or whatever, and maybe delay menopause or postpone menopause or whatever. So I think there will be research. I think the key thing for women in the next few years is that they just really need to be aware of not only the symptoms, because the focus nowadays is all around the symptoms, and rightly so, and around treatment, and rightly so, but there's all these other diseases that affect women post-menopause because primarily of the decline in estrogen. So that's osteoporosis, Alzheimer's, dementia, and heart disease. And I'd love to see a big focus on that. And I've been pretty instrumental in getting the Department of Health and the government to introduce free HRT. So that should be along any day soon.
I'm sorry, congratulations on that, because that was huge. To move the needle like that is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't actually expect it to happen that quickly. Now, the fact that it hasn't actually happened and been implemented yet at the pharmacy level, kind of doesn't surprise me. But still, it's a fantastic move. But I also wanted free midlife health checks for women. And I would love to see something like that come into play, which fits very well with this whole menopause thing, because it's looking at the next stage of your life and making sure that you're prepared for any diseases or anything there. So I think, I would say watch this space. The world has just discovered that menopause exists and a massive market has opened up, and everybody is trying to pile in with stuff. Now, there's an awful lot of nonsense, but there's some great stuff too. So who would have thought we'd have a menopause shampoo or a menopause moisturizer and those kind of things. I'm not saying they don't work. I've no idea. But what I would say is that, who'd have thought?
Yeah. Yeah. Come a long way.
Yeah.
And a long way to go still.
Yes.
When you talk about those kind of diseases, is there certain things that people should be checking for? If you were doing a midlife check, what would that involve?
Yeah, well, I think every woman should be going, no matter their age, once they're eligible for cervical check, they should be doing that. They should be doing breast check as soon as they're eligible for that. And obviously, if there's any family history, you need to be, investigating that earlier. But I also think that we should have, you need to be having your thyroid checked. You have to have your your blood pressure checked. You need to check for type 2 diabetes and some of those kind of things.
Yeah.
But also women should have a DEXA scan, which is a bone density scan once they're sort of 50 or above. And at the moment, it's free with the government once you're over the age of 65 for men and women. But sure, for most women, the rot is set in.
Yeah.
And it's very hard, if impossible, to reverse. So I would be recommending people request that. And if they have a family history of osteopenia, osteoporosis, they should definitely request that. And so they're the kind of things.
Yeah.
And it's about getting some education. I mean, weight-bearing exercise is so important.
Yeah.
And it was less important as you were younger because of the bones and the muscle mass, but that starts to decline. And therefore, that's what women should be doing as well. So, lots to look at.
Yeah. And I'm loving seeing more and more women lifting big, heavy weights. It's become a real thing, and it's lovely to see. Being strong.
Yeah, it's very important to be strong.
Yeah. Is there any misconceptions that still persist that you wish? Yeah, okay. That's a yes. That's a big yes.
There are lots of misconceptions that still exist. I mean, women still come to our clinics and say, I got my bloods done and the doctor said, I'm not there yet. I'm out the other side. I'm too young, etc. Whereas once you're over the age of 45, blood tests aren't routinely required. And that's international standards that the Menopause Hub operates to. So, if you're being told that, it's actually about symptoms, your age, and you as an individual. So that's one that keeps persisting. Women being told that they're too young and being dismissed by their medical professional, saying, no, you're too young, you couldn't possibly be, when they may possibly be. Particularly because the symptoms can start to show in late 30s, early 40s. And so that's a bit of a big misconception. And I think there's another misconception among women themselves that they have to be on their knees before they consider HRT, that they have to be in bits. And then the other one is, if you don't get hot flushes, you're not menopausal. Whereas there's actually 40 plus symptoms, and hot flushes are only one of them.
Yeah, and many people don't get hot flushes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't get hot flushes. Now, about 80% of women who get symptoms will probably get hot flushes, but there are an awful lot who don't. And then they think, oh, well, I'm flying through menopause, but then they have, vaginal dryness. They could have, pains, aches in their joints. They could have insomnia, anxiety, and they just think that maybe they're not connected to perimenopause and menopause. So we've estrogen receptors all over our bodies, and therefore it's no surprise that all areas of our bodies can be affected.
Yeah, and are often.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting. I feel like I could talk to you all day long about this.
You will get bored.
No, I don't think I will, actually. Is there anything you're looking forward to yourself personally doing at Wellfest this year?
Yeah, there's a couple of speakers that I'm particularly interested in. Now, the whole event obviously is fantastic because it'll give me a chance to pause and have a look at my own lifestyle and what I can learn. But there's a doctor, and I just have to look this up, Dr. Karan Rajan, and there's another doctor called Rebecca Jade. And both of them are doctors that are medical doctors, but they combine, they're debunking myths, medical myths and things like that. And they also combine other maybe complementary medicine type things.
Lovely, yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think that's a fantastic combination. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from both of them, because we have a medical business, but we also know that women can benefit from other things that are complementary. And we have psychology, we have women's health physiotherapy, dietitian, nutritionist. So it's not all about HRT. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. And I will be coming to see you at Wellfest this year. Thank you so much, Loretta. Thank you. Now, from the challenges of menopause to the universal desire for radiant, glowing, beautiful skin, I have with me none other than the gorgeous Jennifer Rock, the skin nerd, who's going to give us all the tips. How are you? It's nice to have you here. I'm good. Really, really good. Yeah. I was super conscious of doing my makeup this morning. I was like, oh my God, Jen Rock's going to see my skin.
Dominique, people say that to me all the time. I'm like, God, am I that judgmental? People are like, right, I'm seeing her tomorrow, so I need to really like exfoliate tonight. I'm like, no, just you do you. Let's just get you in a good regime regardless of who you're seeing.
I know. Talk to me about Wellfest and what you'll be doing there and what you'll be chatting about.
Yes, I think it's our 4th year in a row.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah, so we've done it over various years, but the last few years consecutively, and it's just grown and grown. So it's our biggest stand to date. Generally so excited to be there. We're kind of known, I don't know if it's famous or infamous, for our 2-hour-long queues for the skin scanning, which is always such a delight. But people love that tailor-made insight at a dermal level, which means a deeper level to truly see your skin and then get advice as to what to do or not do with it.
Yeah.
So we're doing that again this year, but we're also going to up the ante and have like a spritz o'clock station, makeup application, hair scalp analysis. So we're literally living by the inside outside on top philosophy. There was supplementation on stands so you can try it and see it. And it's just always about education, but then that more experiential element is a big goal for us this year. So bigger, better, more education than ever.
So people can literally come and get like a full, you know, checking out every aspect, hair, skin.
Like an NCT for your face and your body. But it's just the advice, I suppose. Like we're always predominantly online, which we love. And it just creates so many places and conversations for us. But this is one of those events that myself and the team truly do adore every year, because you get access to so many of our current clients and then so many potential clients. And it really is, it's probably the most uplifting and empowering event, because people are out exercising and they've just left a class and they come over to you, and I don't know, it's just, you've lived it. It's a phenomenal event. It really is. So yeah, really looking forward to being back there and representing all things nerdy and skin ingredients. So both will be there.
And you'll be speaking as well. You're on the WellTalks stage?
Yes.
Yeah. What will that be covering?
For me, I suppose the joy of social media at the moment is that there's so much information out there, and you might think that would allow people to become more empowered by what they should or shouldn't do. But I'm finding, or what we're finding in Team Skin Ingredients and the Skin Nerd, is that it's unfortunately having almost the opposite, or the polar effect, insofar as that people are now bombarded and overwhelmed by misinformation, opposing information. So the whole talk is about whether, in a much politer way, it'll be all about like rating or slating. Essentially, it's about ingredients that do truly have that efficacious element, and how do you simplify and streamline your skincare. And we'll talk about trends and where they come from and whether they're a benefit or whether they're not. So some of them are just nice to have and to know and to do, and a bit of playful fun. Some do actually cause trauma to the skin, the barrier and so on. So it's an interesting one. It's a different angle. So I know that's ever come before. It should come again this year. It's different content ever before.
I really love the sound
bit of controversy in there as well.
Yeah.
Love a bit of controversy.
We love a bit of controversy.
It's just demystifying. I really feel for clients that there's so much incorrect information, and then as a result people are spending time, money, energy, effort on what they really don't need to.
Absolutely.
So it's going back to basics of the 101, but with the twist of what people might be hearing a lot about in the media at the moment,
because it is super confusing. I mean, and even me as someone who, you know, has access to information, and people like you, I find it super confusing. Like my skincare routine, I'm like, oh Jesus, I have to throw everything out the window and start again every 6 months.
And it's
you know,
overwhelming, I suppose. And look, we all deserve, and this sounds very cheesy, and I don't mean it cheesily, but we actually do deserve to feel good in our skin. So how do we do it in a way in which that we all live busy lives? So how do you do it in a way that it's affordable, achievable, and actually will be measurably making a difference to how you look and then ultimately feel in yourself? Because it is all about that bottom line of just being confident.
Is that the key takeaway you hope people take away from your talk this year?
Yeah, it always is. I suppose I'm always like, we've so many unbelievably loyal clients that come, example, to Wellfest every single year, both days to all talks. And I sometimes wonder, could they do an element? Like, they've heard this so many times now because they're signed up to our newsletter, on our social, whatever it might be. But it's always about trying to educate in a informal but a credible manner, so that you take one tangible piece of information away that you can apply to yourself, be it to do with supplementation, diet, be it how you approach certain skincare, be it the price of skincare. So it's always to try to ensure that there's newness and information that's credible, that people go, right, okay, I didn't know that and I'm going to apply that. Because sometimes you can learn so much that, back to your point, it is overwhelming. So it's just taking one piece and implementing that the next day or on the Monday or whenever, and then just seeing that progress go and go and go. So that's the key part of skincare, not to bombard yourself with too much.
Yeah. And one thing you touched on there, which I think is such a lovely part of your philosophy, is that inside out, is the supplementation, is the things that you're eating. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So my philosophy as a facialist has always been to address inside, outside and top. So what I mean by that is, as you said, inside means eating well, like trying to have a more positive narration with yourself, being mindful and aware that sleep does have an impact, like our lifestyle does have an impact on us internally. And the skin is an organ, and it is a barometer of what's happening to us in so many ways.
Yeah.
So whether you're on medication, whether there's hormone fluctuations, it will ultimately often tend to tell you externally. So looking after yourself inside in a realistic manner. This isn't me going to sit there and preach and say you got to do A, B, C, D before you even leave the house. It's not realistic. So it's always through a realistic veil. And then outside means your skincare, where I am probably a contradiction to this because I love skincare. So I'll have a plethora of products, all the new brands, all the key ingredients because I want to trial. But taking all that knowledge and decades of experience, and then my team are super duper qualified to then streamline it to say, right, this is actually all you truly need. You can choose to buy everything else you want, but it's in addition to, it's a supplement to, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
And then the last part really is on top. So where makeup can allow us to feel perhaps like a more polished version of ourselves, but questioning what we're putting onto our face every day, not just seeing it as something that looks good and that we ask to last for a long time, but does it actually have skincare benefits inside it? Because your makeup's on, if you are wearing it, 10, 11, 12, 13 hours a day.
Yeah,
so it's just trying
to
see it in that what often we would call a holistic approach, but just seeing it as it's not an elixir of youth magic serum that you will purchase. It is trying to be aware and conscious with the fact that there's a little bit more that you can do to help you feel good. And a lot of those additional comments are actually free of charge. And they're just, there's something you can do. I wouldn't say at ease, but easier.
Yeah. Is there one kind of main skincare tip you think people are overlooking? Like you touched on what your talk is going to be about there. What's one little tidbit you can give us now that you're like, oh, I wish people would X or would not X?
I think the reality for me is there's so many phenomenal skincare brands. Like we stock 60 on this Skin Nerd. Like there's phenomenal brands and obviously our own brand Skin Ingredients. But what I do feel still is the reality is that a lot of skincare brands very much champion the quick fix hero solutions, which I'm not opposed to, but it's in addition to the products that will make a big difference to your life. So for example, I love a sheet mask. I love a lip product. I love all those prettier experiential pieces. And sometimes they're necessary, but sometimes people are then putting their money into that rather than going, right, I actually need a simplistic regime with, my retinol and my antioxidants and my ascorbic acids. And they're the ones that will truly make my skin today feel far healthier in 30, 60, 90, 365 days time. Whereas a quick fix mask or something quite bougie is brilliant, but it's in that moment, it's instantaneous, and that's fine. You're allowed to relate skincare to that, but it's probably going back to basics. And I'm a devil for it. I'm doing this the whole time on TikTok, and I'm too falling into it. But I want that glossy, beautiful, iridescent, glass-like skin. That's fine. But knowing that if you're not putting your SPF on and applying the other key ingredients, it's only going to do so much. Yeah. So I always try to describe those as the non-negotiables. Like this makes it sound really unsexy, but do those non-negotiables, more educated ones first, and then everything else, play with it, have fun, buy into the trends. But I know that you're rock steady in what you're applying on the day-to-day to truly make a difference to the health of your skin. Yeah. And therefore the aesthetics of your skin in turn.
It makes sense.
It does make sense. Not always easy to do because sometimes we want the prettier things, but I suppose my message is always do this core piece first. Yeah. And then in addition can come thereafter.
Very sensible.
A bit too sensible maybe, but it works. It's okay. It really does work. And it's like that's what our clients come back to us time and time again saying, I was spending X amount on brand A, B, C, D and product, A, B, C, D, and I loved it. But now I'm seeing true measurable differences, like pigmentation is a lot less, my pore size a lot less, my redness has actually truly subsided, not just I look glowy in the moment. It's actually making a difference for your skin. Yeah. So you actually need less products longer term then.
I know, which is a great message.
And we deserve that. Like no one wants to spend all the time and all the money and all the energy every morning and evening. We've enough to be doing.
We do. Live our life. We're busy ladies. Tell me what you're looking forward to at Wellfest this year. I know you've been obviously many, many years. So what do you love doing when you're there?
I love the energy because I suppose I spend a lot of my time with my team online and we go into all of our different retailers and meet the clients there. But this is an opportunity to meet with clients that we've seen year in, year out. There is a lady that comes to mind from last year that showed us her photograph from the skin scanning that she had been to for the years prior with us. I was like, look, I did my homework. I did the non-negotiables. And just that energy is infectious. And then it's a great opportunity for the team to be together and just, it's a lot of high energy in a beautiful way. It just feels really, really real, if that makes sense. So
totally does.
Meeting clients and getting to chat to them and learning. Oh my goodness, it's like market research because they're like, why don't you have this? And could we create that? And what about So that opportunity is never taken for granted.
Yeah, getting real-time feedback from people on the ground.
Our
Amazing.
clients do not hold back. They are like, we ask for real people, we get real people, we get real answers.
Good,
so that's always something to hugely look forward
really
to.
Valuable. I was laughing before you came in. I remember last year we bumped into each other in the car park on the Sunday afternoon. You don't remember this, but I definitely had a pizza in my hand that I was scoffing in the car. How are you going to celebrate Wellfest
Well, I'm really
this year?
intrigued about this pizza now, because I don't remember you having the pizza, but it sounds delicious if you were that excited to get into your car to eat it solo.
I was. It's the wood-fired pizza. It's to the left of the main stage. I cannot recommend it enough.
I love it.
It's not exactly a Wellfest dish that
I'm
you'd
really
imagine.
curious as to where this pizza stand is. It's now getting a lot of publicity, right? So I'd encourage you to juice and look after yourself in a non-inflammatory fashion.
Yeah.
How will I celebrate? We're going to France a couple of days later, so it'll probably just for a little breakaway. So it'll just be getting ourselves back. There's always a decompressed element, like you have to decompress yourself on a Monday.
Yeah.
So always bring the team together, have a debrief. I'm sure you guys are the same, but we love to have a debrief and go, right, what really worked? What would you love to do differently? What were you inspired by? And then trying to capture that information as soon as possible, so we know that we're guaranteeing that if we return next year, it's going to be even better again. And just constantly trying to improve to offer the best to our clients.
And wellness must mean something quite different to you than it did this time last year. You have had a roller coaster year. It's been
an interesting year. There's no doubt about it. So I suppose I had a hysterectomy in December and then endometriosis, excisions. And so the year leading up to it was probably quite a traumatic one. So my memory of Wellfest was not a pleasant one when I met you in the car park, because I had fainted earlier on in the day due to the amount of blood that I was passing. So seeing you and your pizza, I would have bitten the pizza. That's the point. Like, I just wanted to go home at that stage. So I'm looking forward to going back with a new sense of vitality and really enjoying the year. Not that I didn't enjoy last year, but it definitely took its toll. It took a lot. But to answer your question, I suppose the reality is, for me now, I've lived a tough health year. Thankfully, nothing sinister, but definitely not a quality of life that I would wish on anybody, to be fair. Like, I bled for 10 months straight. So when I now say inside, outside, on top, I've had to really, really up the ante on it. So it doesn't mean that I live like an angel, but it means that I've had to really address diet-wise what foods are really inflammatory. Then there's a direct correlation between my health and what I would eat and how I'd mind myself, and obviously how it would help my womb and all of the different organs, but ultimately my skin as well. So I've been living proof for when I was on like 16 tablets a day, different hormonal patches. So my skin was awry. Decided to get married in the middle of that as well.
I know, I was going to say, you also got married.
Two extremes. But I was very conscious of the inside, outside, on top part, probably more than ever. Like, I was always aware of it, but then last year I lived it. So my message about inside, outside, on top, which is our theme for Wellfest, is for our whole stand, like what we're displaying is, I lived it more than I've ever lived before. So now I'm just on a crusade to ensure that I educate people as to do it as much as they can within what's ever realistic for them, and you will feel the better for it. I think, and I'd leave it on this, for me, the testament was I still had a lot of energy, vitality, got through an awful lot of like severe anemia and blood transfusion. So, and yet I'd still manage to have energy to love what I did. So I feel like, if I'm not saying that that's an excuse or it's okay to be that unwell or to put up with it, but what I am saying is, if I can feel as well as I did through quite a darkish time in terms of my health, then I've lived and walked the walk of inside, outside, on top together. When you're doing the key checklist for each category, you can feel good in yourself regardless.
Well, you look, and the energy off you is so beautiful and positive and healthy and glowy and gorgeous. And it's such a pleasure to talk to you today.
Likewise.
Thank you, Jen Rock. That is where we are going to have to leave it for today. But wow, is there a lot to look forward to at Wellfest this year. We will be there at the WellTalks stage over the weekend. So please do come and say hi. We would love to see you. And keep an eye on all of the image channels as well for lots of coverage of everything that's going on at Wellfest this year. Until then, mind yourself and chat soon.
The Wellness Project is sponsored by Activia and Irish Life Health.